something's going on in Stockton, similar to in Washington, D.C., where they think one or more people were strategically in ambush shooting people. So, or, the Zodiac shot people, but he's targeted people that were on that were making out, that were some couples, newlyweds and couples or something like that. People that sit in their car and make out and stuff. Or maybe that's just in the movie. Anyway, because it wasn't, there was no drugs or money or gang activity. Some people are saying the MO is like, well, they're saying white supremacists. But did you ever have to be a white supremacist to be a serial killer before? How many serial killers were white supremacists? I mean, they might get a swastika tattoo, but that's some crazy shit. That's on some, like, a jail shit, that don't really mean anything. That dude with the fucking swastika, he was part of the counterculture. Manson. Who wanted to be the fifth Beatle or something. Doesn't exist. Why all of a sudden would there be in the city? Because it's rough. Because they're, like, push somebody over the edge. The Joker, like in the Joker or something, like. I don't just. How do people already know this shit? They don't have no suspects. For it not to be gang, like, why even speculate at all? Because the feds be doing some shit too. Like, they'll get like a bunch of people together. So just to put it past this point of being just a coincidence and too far beyond the pale, as far as how many people actively can be in cahoots and know about some kind of information operation. They have a whole bunch of people, like, were wearing the same thing, khakis and tiki torches, and they were going out to try to rile people up for some of that dialectic around the fucking white supremacy or whatever. Is that the right use of the word dialectic? I'm trying to use it in a sentence. I'm still trying to use it in a sentence. Because it's kind of like letting me fill out a voter card or something. Because most people don't know how to vote, and since I know what they're talking about, and if you don't have the time to read, just let me because I already know, like, all the right people to vote for. So you don't have to fucking vote for every different category, but you know what I mean, those kind of people. It's like focus groups. I know people say I'm out there, but even a grimy poor person can be in a focus group, and it could, the product or the payload or whatever, it could be a couple of meth heads knocking holes in the wall in their crappy Section 8 apartment or something like that. And we're talking focus group because, like, how I said, like, there's benevolent focus groups and there's the kind that's like a portal or a gateway into recessive, degenerate state where it's plausible deniable that, you know, it's like you push these, and they like that lone wing net to come along, you know, like at Comet Ping Pong, you know, and he didn't. It's not strange that a wingnet would go there. It's strange is that a wingnet would go there and find Sharif Salimi and his two kids that decided to go to that restaurant. He's a lawyer, and he decided to take him to that restaurant after he heard about, you know, it's a hot button, a media hot button issue, or there's like, it was a moment of like where a place was like super buzzing, you know what I mean? Like everybody's attention was on it, and it could be hoax, conspiracies, or whatever they were talking about. But then he just decided to show up there at the same time that the gunman, you know, pulled out, and then he shot this like magic bullet into the floor that went and like hit a computer that fried some evidence or something. But I'm thinking that there's no computer and no evidence, because they could just put that out there to make it seem like, you know, oh darn, like those, like you get you on a what's it called, a gambit or a loop, they're LARPing trying to get you to on a gambit. So when you voice your position, you sound like a lunatic. Why not? It's fucking free. It's like, if you can imagine, it's like not everybody's in the same interest, and someone who's interested in covering up is gonna like that kind of energetic confusion, you know. It's like energetic confusion and against chaos energy, and chaos energy is kind of sweet. It's a little bit sweet, and energetic confusion, that's around that whole plausible deniability and grafting it into an organization that requires agency, because they have to be an agency in order to perform. I mean, to have any, because they're agents. We could dismantle and create new agencies. It's not that hard to do, except when somebody gets in control of everything, like a brownstone or something, where like J. Edgar Hoover, you know, started with the brownstone shit. Getting information about people, and we don't know how far he took that shit. He was like a cross-dressing Nazi. This Nazi phenomenon goes back and forth from like poor like orphans rioting to being all much ado about nothing in government, and where it's like it's politics and shit. It's like a politic thing. It's never real. It's never real. You know what I mean? And for any particular interest in serial killers, why we think the Fed couldn't be involved, they're like cross-dressing Nazis. I mean, we can't dismantle them. You know what I mean? I mean, you're gonna have to anyways. The sooner you realize it, better. See, it's the Federal Bureau of Investigations. What do they investigate? You know what I mean? Like, at least alcohol, tobacco, and firearms is specific about where the resources is going. You know what I mean? Like Customs, Border Agency, this, that. It's not so vague like Homeland Security. Just something like it's like gussied up title that doesn't really tell you what the fuck that they do with their money. And those are the ones that if we shut them down, I don't know that. No, they're not clandestine. Clandestine one will just pop back up, but it'll become almost hell and high water before we dismantle a bureaucratic it's not agency at this point in time. You know what I mean? Like, it's not considered responsibility when it's handed off Burisma to hand it off to a recently recovered junkie, because you know that the first thing that junkies fix when they go sober is their teeth, and they can fix a lot. They can fix their appearance and look good, but nobody puts trust in them that they didn't build up slowly. There's just a few exceptions. And then when those are exceptions, it's rare, but we look at it like, oh, because they don't usually get all this responsibility, drop right back on them the second that you're back. Oh, hi. Like, nice to have you back and everything, my son. Like, be in charge of fucking Burisma in the Ukraine. Like, that's not what you would consider responsibility. Even though it is, but I can't call it that because what was it that? That's, maybe we don't have the same thing in mind. You know what I mean? Responsibility means that we're doing things in the interest of your home country, nation, where you have your citizenship. If you're not going to do that, then I can't call it that. You know what I mean? Even though I will, because I have to use the colloquialisms and I have to acknowledge some presuppositions, even though everything is if you peel it back, there's what is it? There's no, that's a different conversation. Something like there's no such thing as being without any presuppositions. And it's like it goes into some like just basic ways of looking at things, like digits. You know what I mean? My numerical system is based on the 10 digits with my fingers. You know what I mean? Not counting my feet. That's you know what I mean, just my two hands. So come up with this numerical system on the 10 digits. But what if I had 9 fingers? I wouldn't have the same numerological system. I would be using somebody with 10 fingers numerological system.